Welcome to County Portal, your simple source for local government services and public records. Let's get started.
Can the president overturn a Supreme Court ruling? This is a fundamental question about how our government works. The Supreme Court is the highest court in the United States, and its rulings are incredibly important, often shaping the law of the land for decades. So, can the president simply undo one of these decisions? The short answer is no, the president cannot directly overturn a Supreme Court ruling. Our system of government is designed with something called the separation of powers. This means that power is divided among three distinct branches: the executive branch, led by the president, the legislative branch, which is Congress, and the judicial branch, made up of the Supreme Court and lower federal courts. Each branch has its own specific responsibilities and powers. This separation is crucial because it prevents any single branch or person from becoming too powerful. It's a key part of our checks and balances system, where each branch can limit the power of the others. The Supreme Court's primary role is to interpret laws and the Constitution itself. This power is known as judicial review, meaning the court can decide if a law or a government action is constitutional or not. If the court declares a law unconstitutional, that law is struck down and can no longer be enforced. This power was firmly established in the early 19th century with the case of Marbury versus Madison. The president, as head of the executive branch, has a duty to faithfully execute the laws of the United States. This includes enforcing Supreme Court decisions, even if the president personally disagrees with them. While the president has the power to appoint federal judges, including Supreme Court justices, these appointments only happen when a vacancy occurs and must be approved by the Senate. Once a justice is confirmed, they serve for life and are meant to be independent, making decisions based on law, not political pressure. A president can issue executive orders, but these orders cannot violate the Constitution or overturn a Supreme Court decision. They cannot simply declare a ruling invalid. What about Congress? Can the legislative branch overturn a ruling? Not directly. Congress can pass new laws, and if a Supreme Court ruling was based on a specific law, Congress might try to amend that law to address the court's concerns or create a new law that achieves a similar goal in a constitutional way. Congress also has the power to propose amendments to the Constitution. If a constitutional amendment is proposed by a two-thirds vote in both the House and Senate and then ratified by three-fourths of the states, it can effectively change the Constitution's meaning, thereby overriding a previous Supreme Court interpretation. This is a very difficult and rare process, highlighting the stability of Supreme Court decisions. Congress can also impeach federal judges, including Supreme Court justices, for serious misconduct, but this is about removing a judge, not overturning their legal decisions. So, how does a Supreme Court ruling ever change? There are two main ways. First, a future Supreme Court can revisit a previous decision. The court sometimes changes its own mind over time, especially as society evolves or new justices are appointed with different legal philosophies. A famous example is when Brown versus Board of Education overturned the segregationist ruling of Plessy versus Ferguson. Second, as mentioned, a constitutional amendment can effectively overrule a decision. In essence, the president does not have the authority to overturn a Supreme Court ruling. This separation of powers is a foundational principle of American democracy, ensuring that no single person or branch holds absolute power and that the rule of law is maintained. The Supreme Court's decisions are final and binding, unless altered by a subsequent court decision or a constitutional amendment. Thank you for watching and learning about this crucial aspect of our government. If you found this explanation helpful, please consider subscribing to our channel for more videos that break down complex topics simply.